Notes from the Life Application Study Bible. Far more than 12 people had been following Jesus. Here Jesus designated a group of 72 to prepare a number of towns for his later visit. These disciples were not unique in their qualifications. They were not better educated, more capable, or of higher status than Jesus' other followers. What prepared them for this mission was that they were equipped by Jesus' power and had a vision to reach all the people. It is important to dedicate our skills to God's kingdom, but we must also be equipped with His power. Develop a clear vision of what God wants you to do, but first do what Jesus told these 72 to do: pray. Christian service has no unemployment. God has work enough for everyone. Jesus encouraged the disciples not just to do the work, but also to pray for more workers. Part of every missionary's job is to pray for new workers and to help newcomers learn the ropes. Whatever your role in God's work, pray today for more helpers. Believers are not always supposed to work alone. God wants them to pray, recruit, and equip others to join them as they explore opportunities to serve Him. Some people, as soon as they understand the gospel, want to go to convert people immediately. Jesus gave a different approach. Begin by mobilizing people to pray. And before praying for unsaved people, pray that other concerned disciples will join you in reaching out to them. God will lead you to an important responsibility, but prayer comes first. Jesus said He was sending His disciples out as lambs among wolves. They would have to be careful because they would surely meet opposition. We too are sent into the world as lambs among wolves. Be alert and remember to face your enemies, not with aggression, but with love and gentleness. A dangerous mission requires a sincere and loving commitment. Jesus' direction to stay in one house avoided certain problems. If the disciples shifted from house to house, it could offend the families who first took them in. Some families might begin to compete for the disciples' presence, and some might think they weren't good enough to hear their message. If the disciples appeared not to appreciate the hospitality offered them in a certain town, the town might not accept Jesus when He followed them there. In addition, by staying in one place, the disciples would not have to worry continually about getting good accommodations. They could settle down and focus on their appointed tasks. Jesus told His disciples to accept hospitality graciously because their work entitled them to it. Ministers of the good news deserve to be supported, and if we are lay people, our responsibility is to make sure they have what they need. We can encourage those who serve God in His church in several ways, including 1. Seeing that they have fair and adequate compensation. 2. Seeing that they are supported emotionally, possibly by planning special times to express appreciation for what they have done. And 3. Lifting their spirits with special surprises from time to time. Our ministers deserve to know we are giving to them cheerfully and generously. Jesus gave 2 rules for the disciples to follow as they traveled. They were to eat what was set before them, that is, they were to accept hospitality without being picky, and they were to heal the sick. Because of the healings, people would be willing to listen to the good news. Sodom was an evil city that God had destroyed because of its great sinfulness. The city's name is often used to symbolize wickedness and immorality. Sodom will suffer on Judgment Day, but cities who saw the Messiah and rejected Him will suffer even more. Chorazin was a city near the Sea of Galilee, probably about 2 miles north of Capernaum. Tyre and Sidon were cities destroyed by God as punishment for their wickedness. Capernaum was located at an important crossroads used by traders in the Roman army, so a message proclaimed in Capernaum was likely to go far. The city was Jesus' base for His Galilean ministry and the home of Peter's mother-in-law. Jesus often spoke in His synagogue. Jesus' surprising pronouncement about Capernaum reveals a tragic truth. Many of those who knew him still rejected him. The city was included among those, like Nazareth, that would be judged for rejecting him. The disciples had some tremendous results as they ministered in Jesus' name and with his authority. They were elated by the victories they had witnessed, and Jesus shared their enthusiasm. He helped them get their priorities right, however, by reminding them of their most important victory, that their names were registered in heaven. This honor was more important than any of their accomplishments. As we see God's wonders at work in and through us, we should not lose sight of the greatest wonder of all, our heavenly citizenship. Jesus may have been looking ahead to his victory over Satan at the cross. In John chapter 12, verses 31 through 32, it indicates that Satan would be judged and driven out at the time of Jesus' death. On the other hand, Jesus may have been warning his disciples against pride. Perhaps he was referring to Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 17, which begins, "How you are fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning." Some interpreters identify this with Satan and explain that Satan's pride led to all the evil we see on earth today. To Jesus' disciples, who were thrilled with their power over evil spirits, he may have been giving this stern warning. Yours is the kind of pride that led to Satan's downfall. Be careful.